We're 7 weeks into the year, and there are some major takeaways from this week. The first thing is, despite a schedule readjustment between the Raiders game and the Cardinals game, I am grateful we had all the games played with no COVID restrictions or schedule postponements, and knocking on wood, of course, as I say that. The football team absolutely throttled the Cowboys, Baker had 5 touchdowns in a great game against the Bengals, and the Falcons lost in another heartbreaking game. We're going to cover all of this and more in today's video, and if the audio sounds a little different, it's because I was traveling a lot this weekend and I don't have access to my mic for today's video. This will be the only time going forward this will happen, as there was a last minute change. But anyways, enough of that, and before we get started, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as all support is very much appreciated. Now let's begin. As always, the takeaways are in no order of importance, and we're going to start today's video with Justin Herbert. This kid, despite every negative criticism he had before the draft, and how much the media claimed the Chargers reached on him, he is legit and is a franchise quarterback. He threw for nearly 350 yards and 3 passing touchdowns on Sunday, and rushed for another 66 and a rushing touchdown on top of it. Yes, they only played the Jaguars, who are horrendous, and we know that, but Herbert is a tremendous player, and it showed on Sunday. The Chargers put up nearly 40 points, and while they did win, they have just a 2-4 record. Los Angeles will not be good this year record-wise, as Herbert is a rookie, and they play in the same division as Patrick Mahomes, but remember, this is for the long haul. The Chargers had Phillip Rivers for 15 years, and I'm not saying Herbert will be their guy for the next 15 years, but he will be their guy for the foreseeable future. Keenan Allen had his second 100-yard game of the year, and although he has been in the league since 2013, he is only 28 years old and probably isn't the Chargers' plans for the next 4 to 5 years to develop along with Herbert. He has 2 100-catch seasons in the last 3 years, and in 2018, the only year of the last 3 he didn't have 100, he had 97, and Keenan is a great receiver to say the least. Very underrated too. The Chargers are going to be okay in the long run, and although Herbert won't be able to put up what he did Sunday every week as it's not realistic, he is a franchise quarterback. It is extremely unfortunate for Tyrod Taylor, or Tyrod as it was confirmed how it's pronounced this week on Twitter, for how he lost his job, but he would have lost it at one point or another. And the next takeaway is to not overreact for the Green Bay Packers. Yes, they absolutely killed the Texans on Sunday, and Aaron Rodgers looked like an MVP candidate while doing so, but I would ask you, the viewer, this. What did you expect, and did they accomplish it? Even without Aaron Jones, they were going to win today, and everyone knew that, or at least should have known that going into the game. Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns, and Davante Adams played like one of the best receivers in football, as he had a 13-catch, 196-yard, 2-touchdown stat line. The reason to pump the brakes is because their only loss of the year was a huge loss to the Bucs, a great team and a bad loss at that. They lost by nearly 30 points, and this was exactly what happened to them when they played the elite of the elite in 2019. Beating a 1-6 team on the road by double digits is exactly what should happen for a team with playoff aspirations, and it should happen next week too, whenever they beat the Minnesota Vikings at home. The Packers are 5-1, soon to be 6-1 after they beat the Vikings, and their next 3 games are at San Francisco, home against the Jags, and at the Colts. There's no reason they can't be 9-1 through 10 games, and the media will be buzzing about how good the Packers are and how Aaron Rodgers has turned the clock back several years, and I will still be saying to pump the brakes on this team. And for what it's worth, the at Indy game could very well go Indy's way, as you never know. And the next takeaway is the Bills aren't as good as we think they are. They started out 4-0, and everyone, myself included, thought they were serious contenders and they were amongst the elite teams in the AFC. While they could get back there, I definitely think they took a huge step back in the last 3 games. They lost by 4 scores to the Titans and by 2 scores to the Chiefs, and while they did beat the Jets Sunday, they only beat them by 1 score and couldn't put up a touchdown in this game. While they are going to go to the playoffs this year, it is far from good in Buffalo, even with a 5-2 team. They were 4-0 in the first quarter and are 1-2 in the second quarter, and with a game against the Patriots next week. Now, they played terrible this week against the 49ers, but if you think this is something the Patriots will consistently do, then I'm here to tell you, they won't. Through 7 weeks, I think it's fair to say we were all victims of the moment when they were 4-0, but after 2 losses and a win consisting of only field goals against the Jets, it is, fair or not, time to pump the brakes on this team. If, in the case the Bills lose to New England next week, which is very possible, they will be 4-3 and then have to go to Seattle, which will put them at 4-4. The Bills are in a situation that's a lot worse than people realize, and they won't go far in the playoffs this year. The AFC will run through either Kansas City, Baltimore, or Pittsburgh, and Buffalo simply will not be able to beat any of these teams on the road in January. Pittsburgh Steelers as of now are the team to beat in the AFC. Now I want to say this before we dive into this, they play the Ravens next week, and the Baltimore Ravens are coming off of a bye, so they very well could lose to them in Baltimore next week. And if that does happen, as long as they don't lose by 20 points or get absolutely trounced in the process, then they will still be a great team. But on Sunday, they beat the Titans with a score of 27-24, and while they were up 27-7 at a point and still have some things to work on, they are a great team, and this is just the second time in their team history they've started out 6-0. I said this a few weeks ago about Juju Smith-Schuster, who only had 30 yards or so in a 2-week span when Chase Claypool was going off. The worst part for opposing defenses is they can attack you with whoever they choose, and there's really not a lot defenses can do while it's happening. Chase Claypool had negative yards on the day, and the Steelers still won. Deontay had 9 catches for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Juju had 9 for 85. They are 6-0 and will need to work on that aspect of keeping leads and not being a missed field goal away from going to overtime, of course, but for now all is good in Pittsburgh. Devin Bush being out for the year will impact this team down the road, and we will see how that does in the playoffs, because just being realistic, the Steelers probably have to go just a measly 3-7 the rest of the way in order to make the tournament, and with how they're playing, let's face it, that will happen. In fact, if they somehow missed the playoffs, this would be an all-time year and not in a good way. Anyways, they are a great team, and with how them and Baltimore are in the AFC North for the rest of 2020, it will be must-see TV. And if you guys avidly follow my account, you know I live close to these teams, and I speak for both fan bases when I say this, the rivalry is like no other. I really hope next Sunday's game and the game on Thanksgiving night live up to the hype. And now we head to the other AFC North teams, where Baker Mayfield played incredible after starting out as bad as a quarterback can start. Baker started out 0 for 5 Sunday, but finished the game 22 for 23 with 5 passing touchdowns. And by the way, his only incompletion was a spike during those last 23 attempts, so Baker truly was on Sunday. Now, he won't be able to do that every game, as he would by far be the best quarterback of all time, so this is more of a appreciate what you saw while it was going on type thing, as that will be the best stretch of a game Baker will ever have statistically, and understandably so. There is no, well, it was just the Bengals or whatever about this performance from Baker, but there is a concern around the Browns' defense. They are now a 5-2 football team, but their 2 losses have been absolute blowouts, and that is concerning regarding their future and how far they can go as a team. They play the Raiders next week, and it would be absolutely huge for this team to start out 6-2 through the first 8 games. They have a negative point differential as of now, and will get to play the Steelers and Ravens again, so as good as they were Sunday, and more so Baker, they will need to be better as a team if they will compete in January. Odell was injured and Baker had the best game of his life after that, but if you think that was a result of that, well, it simply is not true. Players have days or moments, and this was certainly a career day for Baker. The timing of the injury combined with how well he played is a coincidence and unfortunate timing for Odell, but it was Baker's play, not a result of Odell's injury. I saw that theory on Twitter Sunday night, and for anyone to think that is absolutely ridiculous. Baker played phenomenal Sunday and was the reason the Browns won. And the last few takeaways are, I genuinely feel bad for Falcons fans. At some point, all the suffering will pay off. Whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, whatever, but they will win a title at some point. And I usually record during Sunday Night Football, and the game just ended, so this is very reactionary, but what a game for the Cardinals, and Isaiah Simmons makes plays whenever he is on the field. Gee, who would have thought? And Mike McCarthy will not last a full season in Dallas, and if he does due to it being a pandemic and a worldwide just terrible situation, then he will be fired at the end of next year if Jerry is smart. A 22-point loss on the road to the football team is inexcusable, and John Bostic should be suspended for several games, if not the rest of the year. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I truly appreciate all the support. This was a rare video where I will not have this happen again without the mic, that is. Again, this was a personal thing, and I do apologize for that. But if you have watched this entire thing with this poor mic quality, you're awesome. I want you to know that, and I truly appreciate the support and the time out of your day for doing so, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. And if you're still watching, let me know, and I really appreciate it.